careful with not only just what they get on their skin, but fumes that they're exposed to and stuff like that.
In fact, I think his exposure to acid was accidental itself.
It was accidental, and he even blamed it on his own uncleanliness in his process. He said, well, it was obvious. Well, it turns out that he was actually being pretty careful.
Yeah.
But it was just that it was such a small minor amount that it was just impossible to even know what for sure how he had managed to ingest it. Whether he had inhaled a little bit or if it had gotten on his fingertips.
Right.
Couldn't even really know for sure.
That's rather disturbing,
Perhaps it was
actually.
on a sugar cube he dropped into his tea.
Not at first. Not the first time.
Yeah.
He joins, he has some company today. The DC Madam.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Hung
Heard
herself,
that,
they
yes.
said.
They said, yes.
Yes, they said.
One must wonder in cases like that when
Yeah.
she has a lot of dirt on a lot of big important people who have friends in
Right.
clandestine agencies.
She was facing up to 55 years in jail.
That would do it.
Well, yeah, she probably was facing up to 55 years in jail. But why was she facing 55 years in jail? Because she had dirt on some people that were wanting to put her away. That's also why may just as easily be why she's not serving her 55 years in jail is because she probably had no intention of serving that time.
No. But
she probably planned to live longer than this. I don't know.
my outrage is 55 years for that.
For prostitution?
Yeah. Even being a madam. There are Enron executives still running free out there.
Oh, exactly. Oh, yeah. Not to mention the current administration. They're still up, standing on both legs. Neither one of them broken. I can't figure that out.
The last 3 administrations are still breathing, if you want to write down to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's not discriminate here. There's plenty of rooftops to go around.
Rooftops.
The
As in
problem,
voting from the rooftops.
the problem is we're going to elect another president. We
Yeah.
haven't learned yet.
That anybody running for any public office is probably a politician.
I would have.
Therein lies the
Well,
problem.
when you think about, do we need a new president every 4 or 8 years? Why can't we skip 4 years and see how it works?
Well, I think we could do just as well without the Senate and the House at the same
you
time.
go.
And let everybody have a break. Let everybody have a break. That could be coming up. They're about to force us to that. See, that's what it is if they don't fix it, and apparently they're not going to fix it. They've been pretty clear. We're not going to fix it. You know what I'm saying? What we're going to do is we're going to say what everybody wants to hear. It's like, what are you going to do? Well, what would you like me to say? Well, I'd like to hear a president say he's going to fix everything. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix everything.
I would like to hear the Speaker of the House or somebody come out and say, well, we wanted to raise taxes, but we can't decide how much. Why don't we just wait for 4 years and meantime don't pay any taxes because we'll catch up with you when we figure out how much we want. Now that would help the economy.
That would
I
be
would like
excellent.
to
Don't
see.
send me $600. Tell me I don't have to send anything in.
Did you hear what happened?
Then I would spend money.
Did you hear what happened to me on the, there's a huge tax rebate thing coming, and
Supposedly, I haven't seen it.
supposedly, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Supposedly, get ready for this. Okay, you may or may not know that I make an incredibly small pittance of an income.
Yeah,
Just
a mere pittance.
nearly nothing.
I've worked for that too.
Only 6 figures, people. Come on.
And so everybody was telling me, file your taxes, because you're going to get back $300 and all this. You'll get just free money.
600 actually.
No, 600. You're just going to get all this free money. So I'm like, okay.
But it's not free money. It's your money they're giving back.
Well, see, here's the deal. I don't work for anybody who takes out taxes on me. Right now, I got a thing like a W-2 form from here, but they didn't take any taxes
you're supposed
out.
to get 1099s if you're a freelancer.
Okay, it was
I'm
a
a
1099,
freelancer.
whatever it was. Okay, so I got this. So I took all the documentation that I had, and I did it and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so then the woman informs me. She says, well, you need to pay the government about $150. Okay, so I paid the government about $150,
Yeah.
and then I find out that if you make less than $3,000, you don't get anything back.
That's no good.
So all I had to do was so if you are really poor and if you really don't make any money, you don't get any. All you have to do is pay taxes. You don't get anything. So all it did was cost me $150, almost, no, 140 something, and then we'll see if anything else
But
comes
they
of it.
use their money so wisely. We shouldn't mind just sending it to them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I'll go home and send them an extra 100.
That
Right.
would be very nice of you, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Luckily, I'm not quite that nice.
You know, you're talking about you'd like to see the Speaker of the House do something. There's something I'd like to see the Speaker of the House do. Put on a rainbow fright wig and just run down the center of the Congress like that.
Uh-huh.
That'd be hilarious. I'd love to see that.
We'd be more likely to be able to achieve that.
Yep.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking also, and I don't mean to come down on Nancy Pelosi, bless her heart, as they say around here, but I'm going to tell you something. I honestly, truly, in my own heart, feel that if she was doing the job that I was expecting her to do when she went in office or something like that,
Well,
that
a lot of people are greatly disappointed in her.
that the I don't mean to criticize her, but I'm just I have to just say how I feel that if she'd done the job that I was expecting or hoping would be done, that the impeachment proceedings would have been over, and she would have already satisfied not only the first female Speaker of the House, but the first President of the United States by impeaching the current President and Vice President and having to take over. Not that she should make
That would be a conflict of interest.
Well, not that
Or a coup.
I'm okay with that, really.
Junta.
I'm of the opinion right now that the people in power are there as a result of a coup.
I sincerely believe that all serving Congress people should be forced to wear chicken suits whenever Congress is in session.
Yeah.
With feathers, real feathers.
Uh-huh.
Nothing fake, real feathers.
Right.
I'm reminded.
That's only one step from tar and feather, you know.
I'm reminded of Robert Anton Wilson
Well,
when
we'd have to drill in Alaska to get enough tar, but anyway.
when they had the recall election for California. I don't know if you know who Robert Anton Wilson is. Robert Anton
You
Wilson.
illuminate me and I'll know.
But anyway,
Yeah, I know. I've read this stuff.
Yeah, give me
Illuminati.
cookies.
well, he ran for
He
the
died
governor.
not too long ago.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Well, they say he did. They've been wrong before. He ran the Guns and Dope Party.
Yeah.
And one of his campaign platforms was, one of the planks, was to replace 1/3 of the California government at random with emus in the hope of their natural dignity and decorum would lend some class to the proceedings.
I've dealt with emus before. That's a funny concept. They're a nasty bird.
If you don't know who Robert Anton Wilson is, look on the back of a $1 bill, and that's a start.
Look closer. Look closer.
Yeah.
I'm making a suicide here combination.
Woohoo. Death by caffeine.
What are you combining?
Huh? I'm combining all 3 teas. Here, I'll just get some cookies and have
Is
some.
that legal?
For the moment.
As long as it's
We never know how
less than
long.
5 teaspoons each.
This is jasmine.
See if you can taste some jasmine in there.
Really robust.
Can you
Oh,
can Can you taste some jasmine in it?
Yes, I can.
Is it weak?
Yes, it is.
All right.
All right.
I could put another thing in it.
Are you going to be coming to the brewery tonight?
The brewery.
Yes, the actual brewery in Cox Avenue.
Yeah, I know
Every
where it
Thursday
is.
at 11 p.m., the staff and guests of Mountain Dungeon watch the premiere of the new episode at Cox Avenue at the Astral Brewery. You should come on down.
And as a matter of fact, on your way, why don't you leave early and come by here and be on the tea party?
Hey, you can do that
Dr.
too.
John, the mad scientist, and Mr. John, the equally mad scientist.
But what time? But what time does that? That's at 11 o'clock.
Yes, it starts at 11.
The tea party's over at 7. Is that when I'm over?
If you walk very, very slowly, good workout. No sugar.
And I've put out the word that if anybody's coming to tea,
Bring
bring
sugar.
sugar. You want, I could go see and if I could find some in the cabinet.
No. I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. What, you can smell the flowers in it
Hey,
more than you can taste them.
yeah, more than I can taste them.
Well, I
It,
put
it
a-
does smell quite odoriferous.
I put another one in there.
It's a good word, odoriferous.
Very word. Yes.
Odoriferous. That's not necessarily
Hey.
good. What you got there?
I heard there was a party going on.
You heard right.
What is that? Did somebody hit and run or what? What's that?
Eat a ram.
Yeah, hand it to me and I'll sit it out of your way. And if you would grab yourself a teacup over there
Yeah.
in the box all the way to the corner. Have you got a live chicken in that?
No, it's not a live chicken.
So, did you tell Kurt about my episode?
What?
You
What?
tell Kurt about my episode? Or
Tell Kurt about your
the
episode.
one that cut out in the middle?
No,
Ah.
Is Kurt gone home now?
I think so.
Does it play again tonight?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I guess we need to look, don't
How
we?
should I know these things? You know how I can know these things? The same way anybody else can know these things, by checking out the schedule online at www.urtv.org.
I'm turning.
Or you can go to the forum. There's also a link on the forum, urtvforums.org, for
Precisely.
the weekly schedule and to find out what everybody, all the producers are really talking about behind everybody's back.
What the producers are talking about.
That's right.
Behind everybody's back.
So, my computer had a bad power cable. If you buy a replacement one of those, it costs around $125
No, for the cable?
for the entire thing. Yeah.
Power supply.
Power supply. For
Yeah.
the power supply. Yes.
Right.
For what is it? A Hewlett
computer.
Packard or what is
Yeah.
it?
No.
For a laptop, yeah.
Well, okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
for
What?
a laptop.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
But I took it to Monster Guitars on Broadway.
Yes.
They said they can get it fixed for about $15.
Okay.
So it's a rather good savings.
Yeah.
Monster Guitars on Haywood
No, on Broadway.
on Broadway. Oh, I see.
So that's where they get you, I think. It's the power supply and the power supply connection are like the fragilest things on laptops.
Well, what brand is your laptop?
The one I got from my brother is a Toshiba.
Oh, is it a Toshiba satellite?
I don't think so. I believe it's a
No,
Toshiba
it's-
Portage or something
It's a
like that.
low Earth orbit on the table.
I put these
Huh?
in a drawer
It's a low Earth orbit. It's sitting on the table.
months ago. Probably 8 months ago, I put these in a drawer, knowing
That you were going
this moment, at this very moment,
Uh-huh.
I would look down and go, man, they didn't give me any chopsticks.
Did you want some green tea to go with that?
That sounds
Very sagnacious of you.
how's a man supposed to eat sushi without chopsticks?
With your hands.
No. It's not mutton.
Did you get that?
Now, would you like
I stand corrected.
would you like a touch of jasmine flavor to it? There we
Sure.
go.
You know, no. So many times I look at raw fish rolled in rice and go, is that sushi? I'm like, I can't decide.
Right.
Sushi's great, deep fried or.
That's what I say. Exactly. Man after my own heart. Fish are made to be cooked.
Speaking of deep frying, you know you go to the fair like the Mountain State Fair and everything. They have the deep fried Twinkies and stuff.
Oh God.
They're escalating. Now they have things like Krispy Kreme bacon cheeseburger has over 1,000 calories.
And they're deep frying the burger itself?
Everything is deep fried.
Why not just make a small deep fried robot with a knife that goes straight for your
I
heart?
would say you should definitely like stab yourself in the
They
heart.
don't have to. The burger
This is cheaper, I
cheaper,
suppose. Yeah.
And more fun, right?
easier to maintain.
Tastes better too.
No power supply needed.
I have to disagree. I have to disagree with your opinion of sushi. If you asked me 20 years ago, hey, John, do you know that in 20 years you will love eating raw fish wrapped in seaweed and rice? I would have laughed at you like a crazy man.
Yeah.
Most-
And right you should.
You need a close-up camera. We need
But-
to get this.
If I would be a happy man if I could live an entire month off of unagi.
I believe there's a package of soy sauce in there, maybe.
I think that's actually older than the chopstick.
Yeah.
Chopsticks.
Well, then you
are-
probably get-
I'm not sure there's an expiration date on the sticks, but there may be one.
Yeah.
on
They
the
should be
Exactly.
fermented enough to get a nice buzz off of it if you eat it.
I heard he was talking about the psychedelic pie. Was that Brother Christopher?
Yes, I believe you mentioned that.
Psychedelic pie.
Where he ate some moldy pie and
Oh yeah, he said that.
had a better time than he expected.
So you put the pink stuff and the green stuff on at the same
I
time.
do.
I have not tried that. I have to try that.
Is that ginger?
It is pickled ginger, yes.
Uh-huh. I had a cucumber salad. Was it Saturday night? I can't remember which night it was. I was invited to a dinner party, and there was a cucumber salad that had, among other things in it, pickled ginger, which made it have a very distinctive taste. It was actually very good.
I didn't even know ginger drank, and now you're
Oh,
telling
you
me
put
she's
on some-
pickled.
You know ginger.
Actually, I know it. Ginger.
Yes.
And what is the red colored stuff over there?
I think that's
You don't
Tobacco.
wanna
Is that
know.
Tobacco? I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what it is.
It looks like it could be little dried fish eggs or something, but I doubt
Maybe.
that.
I doubt it too,
what is
because
that?
they would have cost more than I would have paid.
What
Tobacco. It's some sort of something. It does look like little globules of something.
yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, where did you get it from?
I got this at Zen Sushi.
Ah, okay.
Is that the good place?
It's good for North Asheville. I mean, there's not really any other.
Asiana.
Yeah, not North Asheville though.
Isn't it North Asheville? South Asheville. Okay.
That's like,
Yes.
That's like South Hendersonville. Isn't that way out there? Is that the place you took me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. That's
I think,
That's,
well,
that's South.
yeah, is that where we
BFE.
got the soup?
That might be Central BFE, but it could very well be South BFE.
Did we get soup?
Yeah, we had the
Yeah.
soup there. It was
Yeah, it's
banging.
good.
I love that place.
They make a soup there where you have to go up to them the same way you do if you get like Mongolian grill or something or stir fry. You go up and they have two big pots, and one pot is full of like a beef stock or something,
Right.
and the other pot is boiling water. And then you just point and you choose. I want rice noodles. I want mushrooms. I want mung bean sprouts, whatever. And they put them in this little long-handled basket and stir them around in the boiling water for just a minute,
Right.
and then toss them in a bowl, and then they toss a big scoop of broth on it, and they give it to you. And then they have also dried onions and scallions and a few things to add to it. I always use a good bit of cayenne pepper that they have there to
A
put
good bit.
to.
Wait one. Station break. This is URTV, Asheville, North Carolina, and the land of the sky. Okay.
Well, in
And by good bit, he means a massive amount. Like, I don't know. The soup actually dried up from the amount of pepper he put.
no, it turned red though.
Whoa.
But it makes such a scrumptious soup.
That was really good. It was really good.
And
I was surprised.
Sounds like I answered to gasoline.
what is our answer to gas? I think that a large bit of our answer to the energy crisis needs to be solar steam. Solar is readily available.
Well, yes, that's
Steam is
probably
really
true.
easy.
But I grew up in the 1950s reading Popular Mechanics and all those good things that said by the year 2000 we'd all have nuclear-powered cars. I want mine. I want my flying car. I want to hold Popular Mechanics to their predictions.
Did you see the Popular Mechanics that had on the front cover a rotary steam engine called the ellipticline engine? Did you ever see that or not?
I've read about that, yeah.
Okay, that was invented by Tom Hosick down in Winston-Salem.
That's an external combustion engine.
External combustion engine, exactly, which is much lower pollutants and stuff from an external combustion engine. And not only is it lower pollutants, but you can run it on virtually anything that will burn, from coal to oil to sticks.
Yeah, steam is not a bad way to go. Of course, they use steam as the primary engine power from the 1700s up until the early 1900s.
It was
It's retro.
It was steam. It was steam that virtually got us into this predicament. It started the Industrial Revolution was powered by steam.
But of course, the internal combustion engine had more torque, and you can make them smaller and so forth.
Well, it's hard to get really what you would call more torque than a steam engine will give you at high speeds. Internal
speeds,
combustion engine has more torque, but for land to convey for transportation over land, the torque curve of an internal combustion engine is backwards, and that's why we have to have a transmission, because it gives maximum torque at maximum RPMs, and it gives minimum torque at minimum RPMs. So we have to run it through a transmission. Whereas on the other hand, a steam engine produces its maximum torque at minimum RPMs, and vice versa. So it has a natural torque curve for transportation.
So the slower it goes, the stronger it goes?
The slower it goes, the more torque it has behind it.
Yeah.
Which would be ideal for like hauling stuff or
Well, for
racing or
okay,
going on patent.
most people don't know that they used to run steam cars in the car races initially.
Yeah, well, the Stanley Steamer held the world speed record for a decade or more.
For the Stanley Steamer one,
It ran 120-something miles in 1900-something in Daytona Beach.
right. The steam
Get
cars.
on.
The steam cars held the records until they passed rules that disallowed the steam cars to run in the races any longer.
Yeah.
And the reason they did that is because the steam cars always took the records. Now, how do you figure that we turned around and went into a whole thing with cars and stuff of what was apparently an inferior engine? Mm-hmm. And nowadays we don't have so the Stanley Steamer, you had to fire it up probably at least a good half hour before the race and all in order to get a good head of steam on it. But current monotube steam generators will fire up in like a minute. So so it is almost exactly the same as it would be to fire up your car and pull it out of the garage now. Would be very similar.
And a steam turbine engine would really get it on.
Well, that's what. Okay, well, Tom, who I knew, who invented that ellipticline, he was in negotiations with Lear, who had the Lear jets, and Lear wanted to build a steam car.
And the 8-track player.
Yeah, right. Well,
that wasn't one of his more sterling inventions.
No, but I think that's where he made most of his money. But anyway, and you know what? To this day, I won't fly in one of those jets because I used to work on those 8-track machines, and anybody who invented that thing, and particularly his exact brand. I mean, I worked on those things, and I am not going to fly in an airplane that man made. No way. I'm serious. But so he decided though not to go with the ellipticline steam engine, but to go with turbine instead.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure a turbine was the best. I'm not sure it was any better idea than the 8-track. But what do you think?
I agree with you, and I have some small experience in it. When I was going to NC State in 1964, Chrysler had a turbine concept car they were trying out. And they were letting different people drive it and try it. And one of those people was a professor at NC State. I think he was in the physics department or something. Somebody knew something about mechanical engineering anyway. And he said it was lousy. Most people said it was lousy.
Right.
Obviously, it never got put into production, so it must have been lousy.
Well, I
Very,
have.
very loud. I actually saw it
Yeah,
drive by a number of times.
I have in fact ridden on ellipticline rotary steam engine driven cars and a bus. Have I ever told you about this before?
Yeah,
Okay, I've told you about that.
Yeah.
That they had a city bus that from a stand and stop could burn its rear tires. So much that it would engulf the whole area in smoke. I mean, it would just roll off like the hottest sports car you race car you ever saw. But it's a city bus.
Yeah,
The
never
bus
seen a
is
bus.
muscle car.
I've never seen a bus do a burnout before.
Yeah, totally. Just and elliptic line steam engine's fairly quiet. I mean,
Yeah.
much quieter than in any internal combustion engine.
Tea.
I've got some.
Oh, do you? Tea?
I brought some tea. I filled it up on the way over.
You know, I agree with you about the solar steam, and just from an aesthetic point of view.
He ate all that raw fish.
Yeah.
And I'm still here.
If you combine,
For how long?
if you compare a gas power generating station, a coal generating station, a nuclear powered generation, even a wind turbine generation, to a solar steam power generation station, it looks better. It's more beautiful than all the others.
It is, and it's also more portable. A steam powered solar can be transported. It's a fairly low mass system to have to transport to an area and set it up.
Right.
You know,
But I mean, you could do so many things with that. I mean, it's essentially a whole bunch of mirrors around
Right.
something with a central spire. You could have, like, I don't know, gods or angels holding something aloft like that. You could do all
you
sorts
could
of
make it really beautiful. You
beautiful
could.
things with
Yeah,
that.
you could.
Things you can't really do with, say, a gas power generating system.
Well, let me ask you guys this: what do you know about the electric car and what happened to that?
Well, I understand someone killed the electric car.
Yes.
Yeah, by the way, that's an hour-long documentary. I watched it recently.
Oh.
It's
Called
quite-
Who Killed the
Who Killed the
Electric
Electric
Car
Car?
or something
Yeah,
like that.
That's really
and
good.
mostly it was the big car companies who really didn't want to make it. Although they could have made it, and they had the one that was really successful, and I forget which company had it, but they took it out of
I think it
service.
was the Saturn. I thought it was
Yeah,
the Saturn.
GM to the extreme displeasure of the people who were driving it because it was great.
And they wouldn't sell them to you. They only leased them.
That's right,
And
and
so-
they took them back. you
Right.
know.
Right.
And then they crushed them and they
Yeah.
burned the blueprints for them
Right.
too.
And what's interesting is GM was also the same company that took away the trolleys 100 years ago.
Ah.
Okay, now tell me this. Have I mentioned this to you before? And what do you know about
Including
this?
right here in Asheville. That's,
Is this true, Ralph? My father told me that when they went into the Second
your
War.
father never lied to you.
Are you sure?
That's what he told me. I don't know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He might have been lying to you,
Yeah,
but
could have been.
I'm pretty sure that there was times that my father stretched the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. You
I
didn't-
think it's some genetic, I think, but go ahead.
But my father told me that when they went into the Second World War, that they
Yes.
needed high grade fuel to run the Air Force. Have I,
Synthetic gas, yeah,
Right.
I know about that. Go ahead.
and that they swung.
He's right. Your father's right on that one.
They swung a deal between the military and the gasoline companies that were going to invest in the building of the Kraken towers,
Yeah.
and the American car manufacturers that said that if they built the towers to provide the fuel, that they would guarantee that American cars would run off of high grade fuel from now on.
Yeah,
And that you think that was accurate?
yeah,
Okay.
but it didn't happen.
Huh?
It didn't happen.
It didn't. What you mean? That they didn't run off high grade fuel, or they didn't swing
It
up?
didn't run off high grade fuel.
Well, they mostly do.
Well, yes and no. You know, the gasoline engines were the most inefficient engines that. I wish I could remember the figures, like 20 or 30% in
Yeah,
emission or something
like
that.
21% or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's ridiculous. Right.
So why are we using it?
Because it
Because-
uses gas. It uses oil.
Yeah, and some people like to sell you oil and gas, and they like to get almost $4 a gallon
It,
now.
it took them many years to realize how to create a light bulb that would burn out. And it was by lowering the cycles to 60 cycles a second.
Oh, is that right?
And that the original light bulbs were much
Never
higher,
burn out, right?
and they still run today.
It's true. You know, that is true, that lower frequency will cause the filament to
the actual
vibrate.
vibration, yeah.
It will.
It's called
I
AC.
did not know that.
That's right. And higher frequencies are much more efficient,
Yes.
and probably would cause less vibration in the light bulb, and are also sometimes harder to control and contain.
Yes.
We don't want a bunch of anarchist light bulbs running around, so we should contain them. Feed them
You know,
wheat and
all
sugar.
light bulbs used to be clear, and I read this, it's a true story. They thought that light bulbs couldn't be frosted or anything on the inside, and so that they would have diffused light. So as a joke, every new engineer that started, they would assign them the task of frosting the inside of the light bulb. And then one year, this guy did it.
Right.
You son of a!
So now they're frosted.
Cool.
Most of them. That one's not. Yeah, that one is.
Well, as you know,
That's
we're now using fluorescents.
Yep.
And the fluorescents are, the first thing they do is they convert the low frequency 60 cycles up to a very high frequency so
Yep.
that they can operate more efficiently.
That's what the ballast is. It's a transformer.
That's right, and they can replace a massive amount of copper and a massive amount of iron and stuff in the ballast by going to a higher frequency where the thing operates more efficiently.
But our entire system is set up with a low frequency.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
And they smell real good when they burn out.
They smell real good.
But the worst thing to smell, and I bet you've done this, electrolytic capacitors.
Well, I've had them blow up in my face.
They will do that.
And rain down like confetti.
Aren't those like jars filled with acid or something?
No, they
Ah.
yeah.
No. He's thinking
They
of like
smell
Leyden
very
jars or
bad.
Oh,
something.
okay.
We moved past that after we got Frankenstein 1.0.
I don't know.
Right.
Yes.
My biggest impression of the whole electrical phenomenon is that Tesla looked good in the suit. That's about it.
I'm telling you, Tesla was the man.
Tesla was absolutely crazy, but he was a crazy genius. He's one that invented AC. Tesla's the reason that we have alternating current working. Also alternating
He
currency.
designed the
electric
AC
more elephants.
electric grid.
Yeah,
that we-
Edison wanted DC, but
Right.
DC wouldn't go too far. But with AC, you could send it on wires all over the country.
Now, for the people watching, it's not that he designed air conditioning when we say AC.
Right.
It's alternating
Alternating
current.
And it's not like he designed our nation's capital
So when
we
did
say
he
easy.
get, when did he get crazy?
He was always
He started out that way,
It
but
seemed
now
like he made sense all the way through.
I'm not.
well,
I'm not knocking him. He's one of my heroes.
not crazy per se,
He
but
didn't get the credit he deserved.
Right.
neurotic is all get out. OCD, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Well,
touch anything.
don't you have to be at some level like not sociably? I mean, if you were a socialite, how much science would you really discover?
this is true.
That's
If you're,
the same thing. That's
Paris
the same
Hilton
thing
is not
with
going to discover how do you do cold fusion. You know why? Because she's out drinking at all the clubs. Now,
Yeah,
if you were
she-
scared to death
if
of other
she would
people
work on
and you
it,
stay in
yeah.
your little room, you know, in your whatever genetic predisposition makes you,
right.
you know,
Same thing
helps
with-
you stay in that little room. You're like, oh God, they're coming to get me. I should design something that's zap them. Yes, that's it. I'll zap them. And there's this
Yeah.
electricity and
Same thing with Newton. Newton was not a great socialite by any means, but he was certainly a.
He was a bit of a jerk, as I
And neither am
understand
I.
it.
I'm not a big socialite either.
Yeah, so you're kind of where the theory
was
breaks
pretty
down.
calculated.
He was calculated, very calculated.
Well, have you guys seen the movie? What was that movie recently? Where Tesla-
Prestige?
The Prestige.
Yes,
Have you guys seen that?
I did see that. It was
I
very
don't
good.
know what's it about.
It's about
Orson Welles?
No.
it's about these
Dueling magicians.
they're like rivaling magicians,
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out how to do this certain trick. And you know, the trick is obviously that they're doubles, but theoretically in the film, the one guy goes to Tesla and wants to be transported.
Transported.
Teleported.
Yeah, and Tesla was working on stuff like that, and he built the big towers, and he was going to broadcast electricity and all. He had some grandiose ideals, and if they'd left him alone, he might have done them.
Yeah.
Right, because he was extremely successful in
Yeah.
an incredible number of things that for his day and time were science fiction as heck.
Yeah.
To the point
Well,
that
he wanted to do anti-gravity and all that.
Well, clearly, I mean, if his success ratio has to lend credibility to his understanding of physics. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and mathematics.
Yeah.
Well,
if you
read
if-
his inventions, it's like they just step one after the other. Like this would lead to this. This would,
Yeah.
he invented remote control. He invented cellular waves. He invented.
Yeah.
Right.
Compare his inventions to Edison's.
Well, Edison stole
was
most
just
of his,
all
right?
over the place.
Didn't Edison steal most of his and just get credit for it and patent
yeah,
it?
and his stuff was more
I think he was a
pedestrian.
smart guy too,
yeah.
but-
Yeah,
Did
and
a
that's
difference
that
in
was
things.
that was such a letdown for me because as a child, see, Edison was a hero of mine,
Yeah.
and who looked a bit of a mad scientist himself. But then as I found out, as more and more time goes by,
You look a little like Edison.
a little less credibility given to Edison, but then if you really take a good look at Tesla, he is even the grander mad scientist,
Yeah.
and he's got the wild, crazy look in his eyes, that. And so I told you maybe the story about that. I was going through, I think it was something like an encyclopedia or something, just sort of flipping through, and I saw a photograph. Tesla had one of these giant Tesla coils down.
Oh, he loved those. Yeah.
Down in a pit, and I'm sure he wasn't in there when it was going off. I know it was a double exposure, but they would fire the thing and take a photograph, and then he would run down in there and take a photo, get a double exposure, and he'd be all surrounded by electricity and stuff like that. And he was holding on to these things, and he had the electricity flying all around him, and he was like, giving it the look like that. And I flipped through and I looked in that guy's eyes, and I said, who the heck is this? I got to learn more about this guy. He's got it going on.
Right.
And this was from the look in his eyes,
Alone, right?
And the more, and this was like some guy named Nikola Tesla. And the more I read about him, the more I was becoming more and more amazed. And just as far as reading the true history of Nikola Tesla and the true inventions and stuff that he has come out with, and that the government has declassified, many of which have not been declassified to this day.
Well, he was involved in the Philadelphia experiment during World War II, supposedly.
And beam weaponry.
Yeah.
Was he alive in World War
Star Wars?
II?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, he died
I
in
think
New
he
York
died
City.
during the war, but
Oh.
43 comes to mind. But anyway, yeah, he lived.
We must then thank Nikola Tesla for giving us two really grandly bad science fiction
Movies.
movies.
Really bad science.
grandly bad. Have you?
Those wouldn't have to be.
The Philadelphia Experiment 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You ever seen those? Oh,
bad, huh?
terrible movies.
They wouldn't have
Fun,
to be. They
but
could be
terrible
They
movies.
could be great movies. They could be just awesome movies.
They could be. They're not.
Maybe Peter Jackson needs to redo them. Maybe
There you go.
somebody with
There was a guy in Hollywood back
a
during
dirty
the
flair.
during the 30s that had a bunch of Tesla coils, and he rented them to the movies. Almost every horror movie in the 1930s, if you look out, the equipment is the
quote.
same.
I think they used all of those in one of the movies that you one of the movies I think that you downloaded and put out had more Jacob's ladders and the likes in this guy's laboratory. It must have had a half.
Jesse James meets Frankenstein.
Must have had a half.
Oh, yeah.
At least a half a dozen of those things going at once. They were everywhere.
I had one of those Tesla coil things. It was back in the day. Doctors had them, and they would give you massages
Yeah.
with them. And I got one from a garage store, a
oh,
garage sale. And you put in this light bulb that.
A violet ray machine.
Yes. I need to use that. I got a cavity. I think I can fix it.
Technically, any lightning globe or lightning plate is a Tesla coil, isn't it?
A lightning plate.
There's a little novelty store.
Yeah.
Fake.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Plasma display.
Plasma discharger. Yes.
Yeah. Similar.
There was a novel written, like turn of the century, one of the most famous works of fan fiction, I guess. It was a sequel to War of the Worlds called Edison's Conquest of Mars.
Yeah.
It's
I've read that.
Oh, I'm late. I'm late.
For the 420-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Check it out. I'll make the noise. Oh, there's the, oh, here, there's the noise. Okay, here we go.
Oh my goodness, so you're 2 hours late. You're 2 hours and 3 minutes
No,
late.
no. When this show's in the AM.
You are an actor on command.
I believe the word you're looking for is ham. No, just ham.
We got a good one today too. Are you ready? Don't run them off. Don't run our audience off. That's enough. Now flip it all the way to alarm.
Happy Beltane, everybody. And don't forget, if you haven't voted in the primaries, it's still not too late.
Well, the actual date is what, the 6th, right?
Oh, it's early
So it's
voting.
still early voting.
Happy,
But it's about too late to register.
You are right. It is
Happy
not-
May Day. Workers of the world unite.
Yes. I went to register.
Mayday, Mayday.
What are you gonna, I'm having problems, like, if they want you to choose, because I'm unaffiliated. All of them be voted for the front.
Uh, 420 reel, right?
Roll.
Roll, 420 roll. Okay, good.
Good morning. Welcome to the Pleasure Saucer.
Always try theater in a crowded fire.
Watch The Casey Waters Show, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. on URTV. To get interesting, eccentric, philosophical presentations and artwork by Judson Laird, which is manipulated using interesting graphic art techniques.
Hey John, how are you doing?
I'm good. Say you're watching the 420 roll.
You're watching the 420 roll.
Right.
What is that?
long time. It takes a long time to heal. Broken heart. Darling, when you were mine, made me feel so fine. Baby, right from the start. It takes a long time. It takes a long time to